Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's been a hiatus, but we're back here with Tailgate Talk. It's me along with my brother Nick. Nicky, say hi to the people.
Howdy, good to be back.
Yeah, we took a break for the holidays, and then that break extended and extended, and here we are now. So
Back and better than
bear
ever.
with us. It's been a crazy holiday season as it usually is. But we've got a lot to talk about. First off, wishing all the best to Joe. He wasn't able to join us tonight, but he said he'll be back and better than ever for next season. I think he's holding out in order to get a better math budget for a new Notre Dame jersey.
I mean, you got to get it while the before Freeman leaves them because NFL circling. So no, we're just kidding. Miss Joe, but he'll be back. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
Shall we get into it? College football playoff.
it's
I
been
mean, here we are.
exciting.
Let's go.
Up until Indiana won, I believe, because Oregon then won as well. Um, the lower seeds just swept. They're 7-1 now in the new format. Um, it's interesting to see that it's kind of correlating that, you get that extra game, it keeps you in rhythm and it keeps you ready to go unless you're a gauntlet like Indiana. So I love it.
I think part
It's
of
more
that
parity.
being what the break. You're talking about the quarterfinals for those teams that it's not until New Year's Eve. And
Mm.
last time they played was what, the first week of December?
And that's if they were in their conference championship because some of the higher seeds weren't in there. I believe, or unless I'm no, all the top fours were. So, but the opportunity to be that way is there.
Hmm.
So it's definitely the old rust versus rest. Do you want to sit for a couple weeks and get idle and maybe lose your step, or do you want to just stay in the flow of it and keep going at the risk of not being as well rested? But um, the so far the trend has been just staying in that rhythm unless your team is Indiana and you just look like the best team in the country. It is amazing what they have been doing. Um, I think they made it last year, lost to Notre Dame in the first round game in South Bend, and I think people could kind of see the writing on the wall that they were starting to build something with Sig. Um, and this year they took that step, and I mean they dismantled Alabama, then they took care of Oregon, and now they're coming up against a Miami team who took out Ohio State, went on the road, beat A&M. Like this should be a very, very good uh, national title game. I'm excited for it.
I think it's the first. I thought I saw somewhere it's the first Adidas only national championship too.
I didn't see that. That's awesome. Well, I mean, I'm a Nike guy over Adidas, but yeah,
I
it's
love
always
Adidas
fun when
shoes. Those Adidas shoes are very comfortable.
interesting. I haven't tried them yet. So I'm normally a Nike or a Hey Dude guy. So, but it 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 goes to show that I think this year was the most parity we've had in a while. Like I felt like anybody in the playoff could have won it, and then Indiana just came and said, it's ours. Um, Credit to Miami
Yeah,
though,
I mean,
going on the
but
road.
let's jump into it then. Maybe let's look at kind of. We'll break it down. I'm gonna get real quick. Just run through. First round, we had Oregon demolishing JMU. We had Ole Miss demolishing Tulane, and unfortunately, the narrative after that was, what are we doing with these group of five teams getting bids? I don't think that's the right approach. You and I have talked a lot about wanting to adopt more like the FCS model. And I think that's where I still firmly am, is that we do
Mhm.
something similar to that. But I don't think that one game should dictate, they ran into they ran into the 5 and 6 seeds, both high powered offenses. Sometimes you run into a buzzsaw. And then you get to Alabama, Oklahoma was a good game. I thought Oklahoma was going to run away with it, and Bama comes back and pulls that game out. And then you get Texas A&M and Miami being just defensive showdown, grit your teeth. Who can be the first team to score a touchdown to win that game? What do you think about that first round overall, Nick? Give me your thoughts there.
So to echo what you were saying, I don't think it's really fair to lump the group of five in just because they went up against. I mean, not only was Oregon the number five seed, but sending JMU across the country, um, three time zones. Oh yeah, I mean it was they came out slow. They picked it up in the second half. It was definitely closer in the second half, but I agree with you. I do think it would be stupid to generalize an entire set of conferences over a couple games. I mean, look at Cincinnati. They made it to a 14 playoff. So and I always go back to the Boise State beating Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. Like things happen. App State beat Michigan when App State was an FCS school. Like there's always an opportunity. It's just I don't want to. I think you and I are agreeing that we don't want to take away the lower schools' opportunity just because of money and stuff. So um, yeah, those were kind of when as expected. Miami A&M was interesting in the fact that it looked like both teams wanted to win, but then they didn't want to win at the same time. Like they were doing everything in their power to not win. Obviously, Miami pulled out with a touchdown at the end, like you said, and the last game being Oklahoma at Bama. I mean, like you said, Oklahoma had them on the ropes, and credit to Bama and Ty Simpson in that moment. They didn't give up. They weathered the storm, and then they came back and I have a point to make about the SEC, but I'm going to wait until after we get into the next rounds. And I think you're in the same spot with me.
Yeah. So we're moving to the quarterfinals. This is what everyone got to watch on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And I think we kind of were talking about it, like it's the Russ versus rest question. You've got Oregon made Texas Tech look like they weren't a team at all.
Right.
You had Ole Miss in Georgia. Well, I mean, that was what a 5 point game, but I feel like Ole Miss looked better throughout. And then you had the same kind of thing with Miami, Ohio State. Miami won by 10, but again, looked like Miami was the better team throughout, and Ohio State couldn't do anything, and Miami's offense just did enough. And
Mm.
the only team that showed up looking like they were rested, ready to go, and focused was Indiana. And I think you gotta give a lot of credit to Kurt Signetti there. If there's one thing that you can say about Indiana without any kind of asterisks, any kind of thing, like there's a lot, but I think this is the baseline for them is that team is disciplined. That team is well coached, and I think that's what has led to so much of their success.
100% agree. Indiana looked like I said it in our little preamble there. They looked like the best team in the country. They came in prepared. They knew what Alabama was going to do. They knew what they were trying to do. And then Fernando Mendoza, you can't say enough about him. He looked like the number one overall pick, the Heisman winner, especially in that Alabama game. Not to say that against Oregon, but I just don't want to get ahead of myself. I will push back a little bit with the Ole Miss Georgia game. I think Georgia was the better team for most of it. I just think that Ole Miss had the best player on the field with Trinidad Chambliss. I think that he took that game over and made a few plays where it was like, it reminded me of Manziel days when he's running around in the backfield, sometimes 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then making the throw and the receivers making the play and getting the first down, or like the Bo Wallace play to bring it back to Ole Miss where they threw it up against Bama, they knock the ball up, and then it's like a 70-yard touchdown. Like it just in that moment, Chambliss made the plays, and Ole Miss won. I'm happy that they won because with all the stuff surrounding Lane Kiffin, it was nice for them to get past it and get to the semis. The other games, yeah, I had Texas Tech winning it all, and Oregon showed up and they showed out. They took them on and they did everything they wanted to do in that game. And then the other game was Ohio State, Miami. Miami looked like they wanted to be there. Ohio State looked like they just thought they were getting a cupcake into the semis. Like I think that Miami wanted it more. And they proved it by showing up, getting that pick six against Zayn, and just never taking their foot off the brake. I think Miami just wanted it more. Or at least that's how it came across to me. I don't know about you.
I I agree, 100%. And at this point here, if we look at how the bowl records were going out when we pretty much just had the last couple of playoff games left, we had the mighty SEC who got what seven teams in this year, or is it six? Let's count it up.
It was
One,
Bama,
two,
Oklahoma, Ole
three,
Miss, Georgia,
four, five.
A&M.
They went five out of the 12 teams.
Georgia, Bama, Oklahoma. Ole Miss, A&M. I think that's five. So five
They
out of
got
12,
five,
almost
five
50%
out
of
of
the field.
12, so basically 50%. And as a conference in bowl, I think in games that they didn't play each other, they won exactly one of them.
And it was against Tulane.
And no, sorry, two of them. Tulane against Tulane and against Michigan after Michigan had their whole coaching scandal and lost their coach.
Oh, you're talking about all in the bowl season. I got you. I thought you just meant
All
the
in the bowl,
playoffs.
the whole
Yeah.
bowl season. Two wins against non-SEC foes. I mean,
It just goes to show you what we've been screaming forever is that just because you're in the SEC doesn't mean that you deserve to have a number next to your name. And that was, I mean, the epitome of it was Missouri this year. Missouri stayed ranked in the 20s for the longest time.
Tennessee
They
too.
did not deserve it. What was that?
Tennessee too.
Yeah, like they just they proved it in the bowl game. Like they weren't what everybody said they were. And the infuriating part is that because they stayed ranked, that's just ways to prop up the rest of the SEC and get the more teams in. Like Oklahoma probably didn't deserve to be in based on their resume. Alabama probably didn't deserve to be in based on their resume. You could argue A&M because most of A&M's wins were against teams in the bottom half of the SEC. It's ridiculous to just assume that just because you're in the SEC that you're better than everybody. And
The conversation needs to be had because this will be 3 years straight that an SEC team's not even will not win the national championship. Is it what 2 years straight without them playing for it, or did they play for it last year?
no, last year was Notre Dame, Ohio State.
What was the year
I think the
before
year
that?
before that was Michigan.
Michigan.
Who'd they beat? They beat. I know they.
Three
Oh, they
years
beat
straight.
Washington. Yeah, they beat
Yeah, it's three
Washington,
years straight that we have no SEC team in the national championship.
and it really just goes to show you that. Like, I think that it's the obviously it's the brand bias, and love or hate Greg Sankey, he's a very good promoter, and that's why the SEC is propped up so much. But they really don't deserve it.
I
Like,
don't want to hear the argument about, well, it's the bowl season, no one cares. It's the, NIL and all this. That's the same for everybody. You look and see how many of these teams are having their entire rosters gone. It's everywhere. So that argument should go. And here's the thing: if it means more to you, if it just means more in the SEC, wouldn't you think that I'm extra game matters? I'm
not
not the
only
opponent. Any football is football that I'm going to tune into, that I'm going to love and watch, and I feel like that's what should carry on over if you're playing it. Like you look at guys that lost the opportunity, and they're like, we really want to play in our bowl game at Notre Dame. The players wanted to play, and they got pulled out by their AD, but they still want to play
actually
the game. Why does the SEC not care once they get into the bowl season?
speaking of the Notre Dame thing, I did see a video where Marcus Freeman was talking to his captains, and it was the captain's decision to not play. So I don't that
Then
came
I
out
take that
recently.
back, but
Either way, your point still stands though. Like it and even if you want to say, oh, it's just bowl season, all right, then let's look at the playoff. Let's hold it to the playoff where obviously everybody in there should be playing to win. They only won one game non-SEC, and that was against Tulane. So, I mean, it when push comes to shove, the rest of the conferences have been putting the SEC in a locker lately. And I really hope that next year it's enough of the, oh, they're in the Big Ten, they're in the SEC, let's prop them up. I mean, maybe the Big Ten's earned it
well,
just
I mean,
because of
look
how
at it
they've
this
done.
way: the debate about what Miami getting in,
Hmm.
and now they're going to play for the national championship. You know, should it not have been maybe Alabama? Should they have gotten in over Notre Dame? Everyone would say, well, they were able to come back and beat Oklahoma, and then they get trounced by Indiana.
Yeah.
But
No,
you're looking at like you can run these any different way, but if you're not going to hold the same all the teams to the same standard, then what do we have?
right. No, for sure. And I mean, you, Joe, and I, we all said that Notre Dame should have been over Bama. It wasn't so much that it was Miami that we were upset about. It was the fact that Bama was in. And
Yep.
they were the only team that lost in the last 4 years in their conference championship that didn't fall. And it was just to protect that narrative of, you shouldn't be penalized for the extra loss. Tell that to other teams. Tell that to Auburn a few years ago. It's just because it was Bama. So um I am happy that
Jump
the
into
SEC
the
kind of got exposed.
yeah. Should we jump into then national championship and what we think is going to go on there?
We can. I'll go on record right now. I think the Big Ten gets their third in a row. I think Indiana wins it. I think Fernando Mendoza has proven he's the best player in the country this year, and I think Indiana's team is just full of dogs. We were texting during the semis. That defense is insane. Like they fly to the ball, they're ball hawks. And Dante Moore, it's a sensitive subject right now for my Jets because he went back to school. Obviously, that's a huge news, but they made him look like he wasn't. They showed that he only had 20 starts in his career. Like they showed why he probably shouldn't be the second overall pick. Like they went out there and they put belt, to put it bluntly. And not this isn't to discredit Miami. You know, Miami has earned their way here. Impressive win against Ole Miss, but I just think that after seeing Indiana play especially the last few weeks, they've proven to me that they are the best team. And you know what, Miami, if you win, I'll eat crow. But I think this is Indiana's to lose. I think that they're gonna roll.
Yeah. I like Indiana in this game too. I will say this. I thought, given how Miami looked against Texas A&M, I did think that Ohio State was either going to win the game big or win it close. I didn't see Miami looking as the way that they did. I didn't expect that. Same thing with
Right.
the Ole Miss in the Miami game. I was a little bit more 50-50 on how that was going to go.
Mhm.
But I'll eat crow here. Back in the regular season, after Miami pulled off the loss that I expected them to pull off, I said they were done. That Miami was being Miami, and now they're in the national championship. So I personally will not bet fully against them because I've
Right.
been wrong before. I do find it hard to believe Miami is going to be able to do a pull off a big win against Indiana. I think that if they are going to be in this game, it'll be close, and that's the way that they can win. I just don't see Indiana making the mistakes to get blown out. I think
And
that I'm hoping for a really close game. It sucks that it's on a Monday night. This is garbage. Um, the college football playoff needs to figure out how to fix this, and I think they can do a couple of things in order to not just fix when we play our national championship game, which should be on a Saturday. It's college football, but also maybe mitigate this rest and rust issue and just condense everything down to where it needs to be. And what you do is you have the national championship basically around New Year's, and you condense it down that way. So you maybe have like a week between each, rather than multiple weeks.
100% agree. And you know, it's hard this the further out you get because now the NFL playoffs are going on. I think the reason it's on a Monday right now is because right now the NFL has Saturday and Sunday blocked off for their own playoffs, and you don't want to compete for viewers with that. So I agree. I think that
The NFL
honestly,
wants to compete for viewers. No,
right.
I personally think that
I
the college football playoff would be good to get more eyes than the NFL in this.
I'd have to see it first just because the NFL is king. I would hope just because it's like the national championship, but um
College football playoff
when
has gotten more viewership than NFL in years.
okay. Then I
Thanks.
mean it still like that's just the competition that they're going up against. And I agree. I think New Year's and honestly, call me an elitist, give me the Rose Bowl as the venue every year. You know, I
Yeah.
think it's the most iconic college football venue. You can figure out a way with the other New Year's Six bowls as like a as an alternating like playoff spot, or some of them sometimes are on neutral sites, some of them are the on campus
I think
games,
the
but
only
just
one that has has to be on New Year's Day is the Rose Bowl.
right.
All the
It
other ones,
has to
like
be
they
at
moved
that time.
the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl to January 8th and 9th. I don't see any reason why you couldn't still use their format in order to put the playoff teams in there. Honestly, though, I would prefer for give them to some other teams or whatever. Like go ahead and still maintain some of that, but
Mhm.
have more of the playoffs be at home.
Yeah.
Have I think that would be awesome for college football to have more at home playoff games.
Yeah, and you know it's an economic boom to whatever cities that or the campuses are in. Like imagine Clemson, South Carolina getting just because that's where we went to school. Imagine the city of
Not
Clemson
because of how we
getting
played this year. Absolutely not.
no. But imagine the city of Clemson getting another game day, but it's a playoff game. So there's going to be a lot more people there tailgating. There's going to be a lot more people there for to go to the game, even though it's already most of the games are sold out. But like, it would probably be 100,000 people in that city. That would be huge for not only the school but for the town around it. Lord help anyone having to get over the lake after that game. But yeah, no, I think that they should maximize the amount of games on campus, and if it's just the semis that are at neutral sites, and then if you just like you said, if you just throw the sponsor on the on campus sites, that way everybody's happy. I think that'd be a win-win for everybody. So,
I can't wait. It'll even though it's a Monday night, I'll be watching it. It'll be
mm,
fun. Um, let's see. Other than that, we've got
we're
bowl
going
season
Portland,
wrapped
baby.
up.
Oh,
But I said bowl season wrapped up. Yeah, you try to jump right by that. The one good thing I had this year was bowl mania. Even that was barely above 500. Me with 26 and 19 record, it'll either be 27 and 19 or 26 and 20. But either way, I'm 2 games ahead of Nick at the moment. We've got the same pick for the Natty, and then Joe's back at sub 500. I mean, I I can't say I know ball because I was barely above 500, and some of the games were brutal.
yeah. I mean, bowl season's it's just a coin toss, honestly. Like you can go in and then all of a sudden, the backup's getting in, and um, you got a bunch of half the rosters gone. So credit to you, you won. Congratulations. Um, yeah, that's all I got. I mean, love bowl season. It's just so hard to predict. So credit to you for getting more.
But as Nick, you're getting ready to say, we've got some news here. Clemson's been dipping into the portal. We're gonna be a little homer here for a little bit, so bear with us. But y'all said that Dabo didn't want to use the portal. Now he's got what, 10 commits already, and
I think
only
10 or 11.
90% of them are on defense.
One running back. But that running back is I found out he's not Chris Johnson's son, but he runs like him. He has insane speed. The defense reloaded. I think we needed that, especially with all the departures. I don't think that this gets us into national conversation. I think that it helps us with the ACC a little bit. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see the new times. Chad Morris is back. The Chad gear up with some Red Bull for that. I would have liked to have seen another outside hire, just some fresh air. But if Dabo's going to go down swinging, I mean, it's on brand that he goes with one of his guys. So this is a make or break hire for him. If it doesn't work out, I think we may be seeing the end of the Sweeney era. I hope it works out. Um, but I do no screens, just no screens.
So you're not gonna like this, Nick, but Chad is the one who brought the screen game to Clemson. Um, I will say this though, the thing that we haven't had since Chad Morris left is the just the multitude of looks that he like. So much of what Chad Morris did was the window dressing ahead of time. His offense was always built around we didn't have the best offensive line, but we had insane skill guys, was using speed. That's why Chris Johnson Jr. fits so well for that. So you're going to see a lot of movement. You're going to see a lot of getting guys out in open space. It's going to be pop passes and getting the tight ends involved and all this other stuff that we haven't done a great job with, and we're doing it with I think a better offensive line than Chad has ever had at Clemson. And now those guys still need to continue to develop. They didn't have the best year this year, but I think they're bigger. I think they're stronger, and so
I
they're
think
if
I
that
think we're
all
also getting
comes to fruition, then the real question comes down to who is the quarterback? Is it going to be Chris Vizina? Is it going to be Chris Denson? Is it going to be somebody else? Because right now we haven't brought in a portal quarterback. So it's the 4 guys on the roster, 2 of them being freshmen. So it's really going to be between Vizina and Denson at the moment. We'll see. I mean, when you look back to it and say who do we have with Chad Morris? It was Taj Boyd. If we have if those guys can give the similar kind of games that Taj gave us, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. But it's going to come back down to the defense pulling its weight again, as it has had to do the last couple of years.
Right. I think out of camp it's going to be Vizina just because he's had the experience and all the quotes
At
that
least to
Dabo has
start,
come
for
out with
sure.
it. Yeah, for sure. I do want to see more Denson. I do want to see him throw the ball a little more. I mean, you know better than anyone. I got a little swept up at the end of the year with Denson fever, but it's telling that neither of them really got into the game, and that you could say it was a send-off game for Cade in the bowl game. But I would have liked to have seen at least one of them get in just to kind of see what we were working with. So yeah, I mean, it's a monumental hire. It with the return of Wesco and TJ Moore, um,
And
the
Brown.
weapons are there. Yeah, Tyler Brown, and we have a
I
good
have
recruiting class
Justin
coming in.
Smith. Justin Smith is still trying to get that one more year.
Tristan Smith.
Tristan Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
other thing I wanted to kind of point out, so I think a lot of Clemson fans specifically will be um, probably underwhelmed with the number of portal picks, even though, it's more than we've ever had. And it looks
right,
like guys that can come in and do immediate contribution. The other thing you got to remember is Clemson is still one of the like top five in turn or top six or whatever in terms of retaining how many guys came through. I think we ended up having 12 guys leave this portal season, and we're bringing in 10. So overall, we're looking at like two below, but then you add in the recruiting class. So how does that kind of balance it out?
yeah,
And then you look at teams similar to that. Georgia had 11 guys leave. Then you look at teams on the other side of it. You've got what Arizona State lost. I think lost 38 guys in the portal this year. You've got who? There's one team that's
Penn State lost a lot
completely
just because of Franklin. Um,
yeah. There are multiple teams that are having to redo their entire roster. And so there, yes, you want to use the portal, but at the same time, if you've got guys that you believed in, I think you got to at least give them a shot here. And then if they don't work out, then most likely that means that it's Dabo's last season at Clemson because it wouldn't have gone the way that everyone expects it to. And so then you're looking at, okay, well, new quarterback, or new coach, you would definitely be going into the portal and revamping it completely there.
right. Because I mean, if Dabo left, you'd see a ton of kids leave, and then you'd have to just, like you said, you'd have to go heavy in the portal to field the team. So,
And
I'm just
here's the thing that I think we need to remember is that at some point, the way this is working, you've got so many guys, like 50% of the guys that enter the portal do not find a roster.
right.
So is that sustainable? Will guys continue to jump ship for that to chase money? We'll see. Will it have negative repercussions? I think we're still in that finding out phase of it, because at some point you're going to be the art of recruiting freshmen or recruiting high school guys is going to be few and far between. And so, what happens for the long term health of the sport if you don't have development happening? That's
No,
the question I have.
I agree, and I mean, you're kind of seeing a development problem with quarterbacks because I mean, look at this draft. There's only one guy that's really worth a first round pick according to all these pro scouts, and that's Mendoza. Like kids are not being developed, and they're just kind of chasing bags. And I get it, like you want to make the money while you can, but you got to, in my opinion, you just got to prioritize growing and getting better and setting yourself up for the pros. And obviously, there are examples like Cade and Drew Aller that stayed at their school and didn't really see what they wanted to get done. But then you're also looking at guys like Levitt, Sam Levitt. He's not like I don't know if you can say he's progressing. And honestly, we'll see next year because he just transferred to LSU and LSU plays Clemson. So if he proves me wrong, great. But I mean, they're just guys that aren't really developing because they're not staying in one spot. Look at TJ Finley. Like he's played on like 8 different schools in 8 different years. Like that's just crazy. And that's where I think we kind of lost the plot a little bit.
So a lot to happen. I'm looking forward to the end of this season and seeing how the national championship finishes out. Looking even more forward to the off season and seeing how all these teams reload and what the storylines are becoming. And I'm going to put in a prediction that everyone's going to say the SEC is back, and all will bow down to the almighty Lane Kiffin at LSU. I think that's going to be a big storyline, and so we'll get to see it firsthand in a couple months, but. Until then, thank you all for tuning in. We've been enjoying the heck out of this. We can't wait for to pick it up next year. And uh, yeah,
Go Tigers, baby.
as always, go Tigers.